Welcome, everyone, to the Tech Business Roundtable podcast show. This is a podcast show dedicated to shining a spotlight on tech innovators, entrepreneurs, founders, and the compelling narratives behind the movements they've established. I'm your host, Ryan Davies, and I'm hosting today's discussion on the effects of AI regulation on businesses with, here we go, Kanstantsin Vaitsakhouskim. How close was I?
You're really close.
I'm getting there. I'm getting there. Okay, we're gonna go with Costa because Costa's kind to me and he allows me to to give me the nickname so we can make it easy. So, Costa, you've had 12 years of experience in software development, R&D, product discovery. Really a big focus on AI projects and products. Multi-domain experience. We talked, even before we started here, you've had a variety of industries you've worked in and done startups in, and give you a really good non-standard product vision that goes all the way from ideation to research to launch to support to post-care to exit. Like you cover it all, right? You're really big with deep analysis. You're about technical excellence, innovation, long-term business value. And right now you are with Apro Software, and one of the projects you're working on, Adventum.ai. We'll dive into that. But Costa, thank you so much for joining today. I can't wait to talk about this. This is a huge topic with AI and the regulations that are impacting businesses today.
Yeah, great. Thank you for your introduction. So everything correct. And I really like all this stuff about the AI and all the kind of businesses which are connected with the AI. That's my passion.
Perfect. And you know what? I think that's a great place to start. Color up the background a little bit more for us in terms of, what got you into AI and really got you excited to take this to the next level.
So AI right now, that's the most advanced area in my side. So, and I really like it. And I really have like about 5 years experience, very close work in only with AI projects from different domains, from medtech to healthcare and security and fintech as well. So, and this Adventum AI project, which we already tackled a little bit, it's a really innovative system for personal investments. That's so we are trying to use cutting-edge mathematical approaches, transform them in algorithms with a very, very precise and deep AI basis. So, and basically this topic also really interconnected with regulation, which also you mentioned just and in the previous.
Yeah, I think this is such a massive topic, and I think this is a big thing in terms of for tech businesses, for founders, for small tech, like for people who are in startups, right through to the largest tech and non-tech companies in the world to be able to understand the effects that AI regulation is having on businesses, right? So give us a bit of a background, where I think people kind of know AI started, it kind of ran wild, and then sort of governments around the world went, oh, maybe there's some clamping down we've got to do. But what are you seeing in terms of AI regulations and the evolution of that, I guess, to where we are now?
So we are somewhere at the beginning. So because, for example, AI, it's not a new technology, but just in recent years, we achieved a quite significant success. So it's nearly singularity. So the progress goes so far and so quickly that regulatory institutions and governments, they decided to make some kind of like regulations and rules how to play with this technology. But the big problem that nobody knows how to regulate this domain because it's so new, it's so rapidly development, it's so cutting edge that it's also require new approaches to the regulation, but nobody knows exact ways and exact approaches for this. So that's just very general words, but this topic just rising, and we have two big regulatory centers right now in the world. The first one in the USA, and just this week, Joe Biden announced a huge change there. That's mostly for huge technological companies who developed really cutting-edge solutions like OpenAI, Microsoft, Google, and they must report to the government about their cutting-edge, huge AI systems before going into the market. So, and the second center, this is European Union and European Commission, the headquarters of the European Union, the main organization in this union. So, and they also trying to regulate AI, basically all the domains of the AI. And next year, on the first quarter, they launched the AI Act, the entire law which will regulate everything which is about artificial intelligence.
You know, and how incredibly fitting this is that we scheduled this a while ago, right, for us to chat it here today. But just this week, we had a huge AI safety summit that took place in London, where you had China, US, the EU, all together there. Shine some light on that for us about like some of these things that are happening and you know, the reasons behind
it. That's true. That's unbelievable. Even China here and everybody considered the same thing. They decided, they make the common statement, they accept the act. So it's something unbelievable. It's really unbelievable political event. So
that's you don't see that very often. China, the US, and Europe, and everybody working, you know,
on the same table.
Like that, right? So, and I mean, I think they had Elon Musk was there. Like they had every big player here to take part in this. So, what were some of the takeaways from that you took away from it? You know, I know again it's fresh. Like this is literally a day ago that we're talking about that it happened. But were there any key takeaways besides the, you know, that piece of China's willing to cooperate, which is huge, but something else that may have come out of it? Or is this just for you a you know, shows that the rapid development needs everybody together on this front in their opinion?
So right now these takeaways are quite high level and quite general, but anyway, anybody accepted the necessity of the regulation, necessity of the compliance. So there is a common statement. Also, the USA announced the creation of the new institution, the special organization which will regulate this domain. That's quite interesting, and maybe they will transfer up the experience from the European Union. So also they accept the participants of this summit, the necessity of the very, very careful developments of the AI. Also, they decided and discussed a lot of important questions. Unfortunately, a lot of these questions, it's still some kind of secret because I checked really carefully different sources and I saw only very, very general information. So, but it's a really incredible event.
Yeah, I think the key is, you know, you look at trying to regulate AI, and one of the problems is what is regulated in, you know, Europe is probably the most strict right now. The US is a little bit behind that, and Asia, it's a little bit of the Wild West in some places in terms of what you can do, right? So yeah, so you know, I know that you and I have talked before about this in other conversations where just how challenging it is for a business to be able to recognize, you know, where is their market and what are the regulations there, right? So what have you faced around that? I know you've got, again, you've got lots of experience in this. How do you cater to that, right?
So that's really interesting question, very important question. So we can divide entire world in three huge regions. The first region, that's the European Union right now. The upcoming regulation in the European Union is going to be the most strict and really then it will regulate everything about the artificial intelligence. The second region, that's the USA. You have another system, another approach. You are going not to regulate everything. You have more like case-specific approach. So you have the issue, so you solve the issue. So you don't try to solve everything in advance, including like unexistent issues. So and the third region, that's all the other entire world. So because we should just listen and to watch how this will go in these like big two centers of the technological development. So because in China, for example, in India, this regulation is right now it's just an idea. And even like last week and previously, I heard a lot of concerns from different experts that if the European Union, if the USA will do really strict regulation in the AI technologies, so that China will have a huge advantage because they have a really freedom to develop it. But this summit in London showed that even China understands that it's very important, it's crucial to make AI safe. And this is really great result. So I have huge respect for them.
That's great to hear, right? Because I think a lot of people are in this space are scared of regulation. You know, they don't want government overreach, or they're worried their business is going to potentially shrink, or whatever it is. But I mean, again, you've got lots of experience in startups, especially in AI and in this space, Adventum.ai,
Yeah.
being one of them. So let's use that as a real world example. Tell us
Yeah.
about Adventum.ai, and then what AI regulations exist there that impact your business, and how you're monitoring them, and you can stay ahead of those regulations to ensure that you're not stifling growth.
So having this like real world example, so it's really, I can say it's really hard to stay really ahead of this regulation, because everything is a very, very beginning. Nobody knows how it will work in the reality. But anyway, you can be prepared. So already all this like public this information already public available how it will work. So for example, in the European Union, which you must remember if you're going to work with the European Union or with the citizens, companies, with your AI services, it doesn't matter where your city located. So you must be compliant with the European Union regulation. So with the USA, the situation a little bit different. So I'm located in the USA, in the European Union, and Adventum AI as well. So, and we must be compliant with it. So European Union divided AI services, AI systems on several categories by the risks which they can provide. So for example, let's say from unacceptable system like social scoring to some kind of very, very similar cases which I can mention right now. And my startup, the Adventum AI, we are working with investments. So we're making suggestions, we're making predictions. So we are not playing with real money, we are playing big with the future. So, and right now for me, it's a little bit quite a tricky question, because from one point of view, this system can be accepted like a high risk system. And another way, this is how it can be a middle risk system, but anyway, this provides some additional obligations to show the transparency, to show the basically transparency in this context means to show how it works and why it make one or another decision in very precise way. So, and also it means that I have to track everything from data I have to the algorithms and changes I have with an entire product life cycle. This is extremely important. This is crucial. And basically, this is an answer how you can be prepared for such things and how you can let's say, prevent possible regulatory issues. Because at the end of the day, we will have it. So basically, the first step, you must be 100% aware about your data. That is, this data was obtained in 100% legal way. That you don't have any privacy issues violation, only any copyright issues. So, and all this data, and only this way you can use this data totally safely. So also the next step, you must be sure about the technologies and algorithms you use. So you must track all the changes. You must to keep the culture of transparency inside your company, because all the development processes which are connected with the AI, they must be extremely well documented. So AI right now, it's not a black box. So because you will need to explain how it works to the Euro Commission, for example. So, and the level and the let's say, deepness of this explanation basically depend on the risk level which you can potentially make. So basically, this is just a very, very brief example how you can, let's say, navigate these possible issues.
And so where these regulations do you think are going to get most impacted on a business? Like, is it around marketing? Is it around, like you said, data analysis and being able to how you store data or use data? Is it, customer communication? And like, where are you finding, or is it just going to be, you think the regulations are going to be wherever you are in your business, there's going to be some silo that this is going to impact if you have an AI element attached to it?
So if you have the AI, it will impact you, but the level of this impact really depends. For example, if you have an educational service or a service which works with employee processes or some kind of like law enforcement services, so these kind of systems will be considered like a high risk systems. And you have to provide extremely detailed explanation how it works, how it makes decision, what is your data, so and so on and so forth. Also, if you work with such systems, maybe like national security agencies, there is some kind of like tricks, so you can avoid it. Such kind of regulation a little bit, it will be not so public. So, but I think it's not a lot of businesses who works with national security. So in our world, so also if you develop a generative AI services, and right now it's extremely popular. I think even each big company, I don't know, doesn't matter what you're doing, like toys, furniture, like I don't know, cell phones. Everybody wants to have its own generative AI system, like for images, for text, for anything else. So, and generative AI has a special paragraph in this regulation and special regulation itself. So basically, there's some kind of requirement for the model design to prevent it from generative illegal content. So also, you must disclose that this content was generated by AI. So basically, this regulation, it makes, let's say, human-centric approach. So the idea inside the European Commission that the AI mustn't replace human; it must help human. So it means that if you would like to replace somebody with the AI system, so that's not a very good idea from this point of view. So the AI, that's a tool which must simplify our life, but not to kick off us from our offices.
I think that's perfect, right? That we could talk about, I think, the benefits, and that's one of them, right? Is that we want to mitigate that social economic impact, like you just said, of people being taken out of their jobs, or what that, that scalability of that happening seems like society comes to a crashing halt at that stage. But yeah, right. And you mentioned, the point of it is so that you have an ethical use of AI. You're safeguarding human rights, human safety. You're enhancing. What we're doing is we're trying to speed up innovation and things like that. The other argument, though, and I mean, I'd like to get your opinion on it, is people say that too much regulation is going to stifle that innovation, is that will actually prevent growth from happening. Do you see that as the case?
Unfortunately, I see this case. So because in regulation, that's additional bureaucracy. So, and the additional bureaucracy, that's additional spendings, additional cost. It means that companies who develop AI solutions will have to invest more in such solution just because to pass these regulatory issues, because you must put more money in these like bureaucracy processes. You will change the development process, data obtainment process, and so on and so forth. So that's very, very tricky and interesting question. So also because it's everything is a very, very beginning, nobody knows how it will work in reality. How and it's right now it's a little bit probabilistic, but people really quite nervous because there's a risk that somebody says like, "Oh, you have an AI solution, so just we won't like to regulate it, and you must do nothing until we will accept you to continue with your project." That's quite so. That's a chance. Yeah. So also it means that for small companies, for small startups, in some cases, for example, if they develop such services for education, which is high risk service, it will be extremely expensive or even impossible to pass this regulation just because of like financial issues, timing issues, and so on and so forth. So there is a risk that this regulation will help huge companies grow. So basically, we have a risk of monopolization. Yeah. So that's what I see here.
That makes sense, right? Like if you're trying to bring this into your into your business, or if you're a startup and looking to take advantage of what AI in any aspect of your business can offer, it can become prohibitive, right? Or if you're starting up an AI business, you got to be careful not to get too far ahead, because you could spend and spend and spend on something that is never allowed to see the light of day. Right? So for our listeners' sake, and I think this is a great kind of thing to tie it all together. I know you've touched on a little bit, but like, how do you handle risk mitigation? What's your, if you were to, if you're mentoring somebody and they go, I got this great idea, how do you tell them to, okay, step back, here's the things you need to make sure before you get too far ahead of yourself, because people get excited, right? And I got the idea and here I go. And then all of a sudden they've spent, like you said, millions of dollars and then turn around and go, and I can't use it.
Yeah, exactly. So basically, during this communication processes, during the mentorship and communication with partners, so we really started to discuss this issue, to touch with them, to modify their processes, starting from data collection to be sure that everything in the right order, that we have all the documents, that we are able to show that, oh, okay, this data set was obtained from this organization by these people, everything like 100% legal. That we, for this algorithm, we use this model, which was developed by this company. It works according to this scientific paper. Everything is right, so everything must be extremely transparent. So we are trying to create really quite proactive approach in the description of our systems, with the documentation, with the project development processes, with the product development processes, with the communication with partners and developer teams. So all the developers knows the risk. So that's also crucial, because people who are in the charge of the development, they must know this. They must understand it and must take into account when they prepare the source code itself, when they make comments inside the source code. It's very, very interconnected processes. So because when at the end of the day, you will be able to show that you take care about all these small steps, about all this security, about all these AI safety things from very, very beginning, it would be really great. And maybe it will help you to save a huge money during the regulatory or compliance process.
Bringing in AI, deploying it can be very cost effective. It could be very good for your company, but it could also, if you do it the wrong way, like Costa just said, it can be deployed the wrong way too, right? So you got to be very careful about that.
Right.
You talk about mentorship, you talk about learning from somebody who knows, right? And here at Tech Business Roundtable, that's what we want to do, is connect people in that format.
Yeah.
With that in mind, I mean, your expertise, you've got a lot of it. I'm sure there's people listening right now who are going, okay, I need to ask a couple questions here on this one. Costa, how can people get in touch with you and learn more about what you do and take advantage of that opportunity to learn more from someone like yourself?
So you can find me in the LinkedIn. I hope in this podcast header we have some kind of information about me. Also, you can find the website of my current company, apra.ai. So, and you can contact with me within this website. So, and I will be very happy to share with you my insights and my experience.
That is fantastic. All right, here we go again. Kanstantsin Vaitsakhouskim. How close am I getting? Am I getting closer?
Yeah, you're getting
am I getting further away?
Yes.
All right, that's good. That's good. Well, we've had a great conversation here today. I'm hoping we're gonna have you back. I get to see more of you and have more great conversations, because I think in this world, as it continues to grow, I mean, again, like with the AI summit that just happened, it's funny because I keep thinking sometimes, we're deep into regulation, and you always bring me back. We have a conversation of like, Ryan, we're nowhere close. We are at like 1% of where we need to be. And we are really at this beginning stage.
It's a hugely unstoppable topic. Yeah.
Right. So I think we're going to have more conversations on this. And I want to take a minute to thank Costa for this amazing podcast on the effects of AI regulation on businesses. And I also want to thank our listeners. So we can't do what we do without you. Costa, thank you again for being here. I cannot thank you enough. I can't wait till next time.
Thank you for having me.
Perfect. So until we meet again with another amazing TBR episode, I'm your host, Ryan Davies. Take care, everybody. Thanks.